looking for some summer reads that will keep you turning pages with a local twist, author Mark L. Dressler's books might just be for you.
Mark is here to tell us more about his books. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
All right. Tell us about Dead Right and your detective novels, and how some folks, if they read these books, might be able to realize that it's happening in Connecticut.
Dead Right is my second book.
Yeah.
Dead and Gone was my first. Okay, I started writing in 2014, and I do write Hartford novels. That's where I'm from. I have a detective who is a family man, has 3 children, lovely wife. When he's on the job in Hartford, he's the detective who breaks all the rules. And I do have Hartford places in here by little different names. You would recognize Woodland Hospital as St. Francis Hospital.
Okay, sure.
Right.
So there are things in there people from Hartford would absolutely recognize. And my detective is actually cut from the Harry Bosch, Popeye Doyle mold. And Dead Right came out a couple of months ago.
Yep.
Dead and Gone was my first book, and that came out in August of 2017.
Now, are some of the characters the same?
The characters are the same. The stories are completely different, so they are standalone.
Okay.
And you don't necessarily have to read one to get into the other, but you might want to start with the first book.
God, that makes sense.
You were just recognized for an amazing honor. I want to ask you about that, but first, the main character. Tell us about him.
Okay. Dan, like I said, is a family man. Okay, he lives in Suffield. Fictional.
I love connections,
Okay, it's all
Connecticut
fiction.
connections,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool, yeah.
Fictional cul-de-sac. He has 3 children. Okay. His oldest boy is a senior in high school and a baseball prodigy. He's got a 12-year-old boy and an 11-year-old daughter. His wife is a child psychologist. So when Dan's on the job, he is the detective who breaks all the rules.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
Yeah.
So did you ever think you were going to be an author? I know you're from the corporate world, right? Did you think you'd be writing books?
I never thought. I retired around 2011, and in 2014, it's a crazy story. My younger daughter had a house in Towland, and it was on 7 acres of land, okay, most of which were forest-like. And I'd go up there, and I'd say, you know, you could find a dead body out there.
Oh, and there's the inspiration, right?
It is.
And one night, I went home, and I started writing. And somehow, 3 years later, Dead and Gone was born.
That's
There it
fantastic.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to ask you about your book signings coming up, but you were just recognized for a pretty awesome honor. Tell us about that.
I was. One of the things I'm proudest of is that I donate partial proceeds from all my books to the Boston Children's Hospital. And last month, they honored me for my generosity, and that means so much to me.
That's great.
Congratulations,
It's
yeah.
so kind of you. Good for you. So what's next? Should we look for the third?
Well, I
Yeah.
do have plans for another Dan book.
Okay.
And it's interesting because what happened was people who read the first book were asking for, when's Dan coming out again? So I got busy and wrote another Dan book. But in the back, I already had another book started, and this features a female detective from New York City, the only female detective on the New York City police force. So that I expect to be out first quarter of next year.
Well, great, Mark. You're going to have to come back and share that story
Oh, I'd love
for
to.
us. Thank
Most
you for
definitely.
being here. And where can we find your books?
You can find books at any bookstore. You can buy them anywhere, and Amazon, of course.
Great.
And it's on Kindle as well.
Oh, even easier. And I understand you're going to be in Blueback for a signing coming up.
September 7th, I'll be at Blueback Square, Barnes & Noble at noontime. The 18th of September, I will be at Mohegan Sun in the Cabaret Theater at 6:30. And then on September 20th, I'll be back in Hartford, Barnes & Noble downtown for an event that's called Books on Pratt.
We
we
love
go.
that. Mark, congratulations on all your success. Can't wait to start turning the pages.
Oh,
Pick it
thank
up.
you.
Dead
I'll
Right.
sign a copy if you like.
Oh,
We appreciate
we
that.
love
Thanks
that.
for coming by.
Thank you.
All right.